Today, we're going to do a science lesson. Okay, the reason why is I keep getting comments from people saying squirrels are tree rats. I would like to start by saying this part isn't science, this is just common sense. Not everybody is prejudiced, okay? So if you call something something else and you're trying to insult it, you're assuming that people think the first thing is bad. Not everybody has a fear or whatever of rats. So there's that. So just calling something a rat doesn't make it bad. Even if something is a rat, that doesn't make it bad either. It's just a rat, it's what it is. So, okay, so now we get into the science part. So first off, everybody doesn't share the same prejudices. So your insults that use your prejudice doesn't equate to horrifying reaction on the behalf of the listener if they don't share your prejudices. So there's one. Number two. Now we get into science. All of number two is all science. Okay, so here we start. So let's start with that. Let's start with people saying squirrels are tree rats. All right. Squirrels and rats, those are in two different families. They are part of the same order. The order is Rodentia. The order is Rodentia. But the families are different. The rat family is Muridae. The squirrel family is Sciuridae. They're two different things. They roll up to the same order. Okay, so you got your rats, your squirrels, Muridae, Sciuridae. These are the families. They go to the same order, the order being Rodentia. Rodentia happens to be the order that has the most animals in the world. So it's not a one-off weird thing to be a rodent. It's actually more normal to be a rodent than it is to be a primate, which is what we are. You wouldn't believe how many primates are extinct. Many primates are extinct. And hominids, humans, would you believe we're the only primate that's found everywhere on the world? That's pretty amazing. And I think I know why it is we don't know how to just stick to our own business. Humans have a way of like jumping into business where they don't belong. So they probably are traveling to places they don't belong. That's what we've done. So we're everywhere. Well, anyway, that's beside the point. So, okay, so here's what is my point. So you remember what I was saying about rats and humans being two different families rolling up to the same order. Well, humans, which are in the family called hominid, roll up to an order called primate. Well, guess what else rolls up to the order of primate? It's another family called, let me get this right. It's another family called the mouse lemur. The mouse lemur and the human hominid are both families that roll up to primate. I will insert here a picture of a mouse lemur. Now you're back. All right, so you can see just how similar a human is to a mouse lemur. And you have people that call squirrels tree rats. It just makes no sense. If they were the same thing, they'd be in the same family. But they're in different families, just belonging to the same order, same as we are with the mouse lemur. And if somebody called you a mouse lemur, first off, would you be insulted? No, because it's not insulting to be a mouse lemur. It's just something that is. And in fact, it's pretty cute, just like a rat. And on top of that, it's ignorant and ridiculous because you're not a mouse lemur, you're a human. So there's no need to call a squirrel a rat Just like there's no need to call a human a mouse lemur. So I'm really just over people telling me squirrels are tree rats. It just doesn't make any sense, and there's no scientific basis for it. It's just prejudice and people trying to think that using the word rat somehow means bad, and it's just ignorant. So there's that. Now we get into a little bit more science. A little bit more science. Okay. I have also many times had people comment, "You're gonna get rabies," or just rabies. They'll just put rabies, like, "Have you thought of rabies?" Or, "Boy, you're gonna get rabies," or, "I can't wait until the day when you get rabies." Well, guess what? There was a time early on when I thought, am I just lucking out? Why am I not getting rabies? Everyone seems to think it's this thing. My mom even told me she has a friend that got bit by a squirrel because she was feeding it and didn't blah, 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 whatever her deal was, who knows. The squirrel was probably just trying to eat the nut out of her hand and missed, because that happens rarely anymore, but back in the day it would, when they were still new and learning. And so my mom told me, and she had to go to the hospital and get rabies shots. Okay, nothing against my mom, because this is probably a common misconception, but she did not have to go to the hospital and get rabies shots. She did go to the hospital and get rabies shots. Now here's where it gets even worse. Apparently, from my mom's story, they actually gave her rabies shots at the hospital. And it's like, okay, so this is how far spread the ignorance is. If people at the hospital didn't know the facts and thought that this person was in danger of having rabies from getting bitten by a squirrel. If you go to the CDC website, the Center for Disease Control, the authority in our country that knows about diseases, guess what they have to say about squirrels and rabies? Do you think they tell you, hey, run to the hospital and get rabies shots if you get bitten by a squirrel? No, they do not. Because they said there has never, ever been a case of a squirrel transmitting rabies to a human, and the incidence of rabies in squirrels at all is almost unheard of, almost nil. They don't have, however, they said what animals do have rabies. They list them. The first one is dogs. Dogs. So when people have YouTube channels about dogs, I gotta believe they aren't getting constant comments from people that say rabies. But the actual animal that does put you in danger of getting rabies, the number one animal that puts you in danger of rabies, is a dog. Then they had also coyotes, foxes, raccoons, skunks. These were animals that the CDC says you do have to worry about with rabies, not squirrels. So there's misconceptions, there's prejudices or whatever that people have that even go so far as in a hospital. Somebody my mom knows went to the hospital and apparently they actually treated her for rabies, for possible rabies, when she was just bitten by a squirrel, which has never ever been known to pass rabies to a human and is almost never ever known to have rabies at all. It's just ignorance. So I'm going to put a link to this video every time someone puts a comment on any of my videos that says tree rats or rabies. I'm so tired of that. And it's just like I said, it's from lack of information. So here I am sharing the information. And I really did. At the beginning, I thought, wow, am I getting lucky that I'm getting bitten by squirrels and nothing's going wrong? I wasn't getting lucky. It's just what is. Not a big deal, yo. So, how do you feel about squirrels now? How do you feel about mouse lemurs? How do you feel about being a human? I hope this video has illuminated your life as much as researching it has illuminated mine. I actually didn't know that primates are very extinct, very many extinct. Isn't that weird? Like tons of primates are extinct. And like way more are extinct than still remain. Woohoo-doo-doo. So who knows? Maybe we'll die out. And you know who will probably be left? Rodentia, because they own the place right now. We're just living on a rodent earth. I mean, they own it. We're just here. There's less of us than there are of them. Why do we think we're so great? I'm a human. Prejudice. Species, family, order, prejudice. Isn't it funny how close mouse lemur sounds to tree rat? I just think that's really ironic that we actually are in the same order as a mouse lemur and squirrels and rats are also in the same order. And our relation to a mouse lemur is the same as a squirrel's relation to a rat, which I'm not sure there's such a thing as a tree rat. I think that's just an insult people try to throw at squirrels, like, it's a rat that lives in a tree. Even if that's true, that's cool. A rat that lives in a tree, how cool is that? People just need to open their minds a little bit, you know?